Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and what we're going to make are chocolate applesauce brownies with nuts. It's optional if you want to put the nuts in, but it's it's an easy recipe, and I think a good recipe. So let's start off with our dry ingredients. We're going to be putting in 1 cup of all-purpose flour. We're also going to put 1/4 cup of unsweetened baking cocoa. That's unsweetened. Okay. We're also going to be putting in a teaspoon of cinnamon in, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and then we're just going to give that a good stir, and then we're going to set that aside. Now, I've been mentioning this in all my videos. I no longer will have the recipe of ingredients below the video. So I will try to, explain slowly and clearly the recipe. All right, now let's start to make the batter. We're going to start off with 1 cup of brown sugar. Now, you can make this recipe with your hand mixer if you want. As I always say, most of my recipes I prefer my stand-up because it's quick and it's easy, and especially for the videos. Okay. Next, you're going to need a 1/2 cup of butter or margarine at room temperature. Okay. So if you don't have butter, or you don't like butter, or maybe you don't like margarine, then definitely use butter. But you've got a choice. And then just cream the butter with the sugar, brown sugar. Okay? Now, spend whatever time that it takes for that to cream together. And again, it depends on what you're using, your stand-up, your hand mixer, what speed, that kind of thing. But just cream it together and have it combined very well. Next, we're going to put in 2 eggs they've been at room temperature, and I'm going to beat in 1 at a time and put the second one in once I know the first one's been blended. And here's the second. Now I'm going to raise my speed a little bit, so I want to warn you about the sound about the mixer. Normally I probably wouldn't be beating it as that high of a speed, but again, I want to move it along. I don't want to bore you. The next thing, of course, that you're going to be putting in is a cup of whatever brand that you like applesauce. Now, you can use regular, you can use unsweetened, and that's what I'm using today is unsweetened. And you can use the cinnamon flavor if you prefer. Feel free to use that, okay? But 1 cup, again, of either regular, unsweetened, or the cinnamon applesauce you can also buy. And blend that together. Now, you'll spend a good probably 2 or 3 minutes till everything is really nice and smooth and mixed. You're also going to put a teaspoon of vanilla in. Okay. Now I'm just going to clean the sides of my mixing bowl, get to the bottom, of it with my spatula here. I'm also going to turn up the mixer a little bit, so again, warning you about the sound. Okay, next step is just start putting the dry into the wet till it's well combined. You don't want to overbeat them because you don't want the brownies to become too tough. And we'll put a little, we'll start off slow because we don't want this mixture all over the kitchen. And then we'll continue to raise our speed till everything's combined. Alright, that's the rest of the dry. Now I'm just going to turn it up a little bit to pull it all together. And once again, I want to clean the sides of my bowl, get to the bottom. And then it looks like it does need a little bit more beating. The next thing, of course, is you're going to need a pan. This particular pan that I'm using is a 9 by 9 by 2. Okay, I heavily greased it. Go ahead and use your parchment paper if you prefer. Also, the next thing I'm going to do is put nuts. Now, you don't have to put nuts in if you don't want to. And what you'll want to do is you want to have at least about a half a cup of chopped nuts, whatever type of nut you want. Peanuts or walnuts or pecans or almonds, whatever you prefer, whatever you might have at home. And then I'm just going to put those in. I like to actually use my mixer and beat them in rather than by hand, because I just feel like I know that they're evenly mixed better that way. But you can, mix them in by hand if you prefer. All right, now once you do that, of course, I'm going to take my paddle off and take off my excess here. Now, these brownies are going to be baked at 350 degrees. And there could take you anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes because, as you know, all our ovens set up so differently. So I'll be honest with you, I start watching mine about 17, 18 minutes. And today the brownies actually came up in exactly 25 minutes. So, do check on them. You don't want to overbake them and you don't want to dry them out, that kind of thing. And then just take your mixture, of course, and then just pour it into your pan. And you want to even it out, get to those edges of the pan, all the corners, all the sides of the pan. And of course I want to get everything out of this bowl. It really smells good because you can smell the apples, you can smell the chocolate, and then when you bake it, this is another recipe that, well, your whole kitchen, it just smells so good, and you smell that cinnamon too. And then I like to just reserve just a little, very little, it's probably a little more than a tablespoon of nuts, and I like to just sprinkle them on the top. Certainly you don't have to do that either. Now you might want to, sprinkle powdered sugar over the tops, or ice them, or frost them, or just eat them plain. Well, they're delicious. But again, 350, 25 to 35 minutes. put it on a cooling rack so that it's cool enough for you to cut them so they all don't tear up. And now you could serve them warm too. They just are delicious. Let me rinse my hands. I'll put that aside because I was working with raw eggs. So I want to make sure I don't have that on my hands. And then I'd like to show you what they look like once they are baked up. Okay. Let me get that out of the way. Okay. And they'll bake up and look like this. They have a very rich, dark brown color to them. You can see that the nuts that I put on at the end, just like I showed you a few seconds ago, just bake up beautiful. These are completely cool right now, so I can easily just take my knife and cut into them. They have all pulled away from the sides. Comes out very easy. I don't know if you can see that. So nice and clean from the pan. And these delicious, light, moist, delicate brownie comes out nice bottom to them. I'm going to just squeeze them a little bit, and I hope that the camera can pick up, if I'm at the right angle here, how moist they are. Oh, these are just absolutely delicious. They are so moist. I don't want to classify them too much as a cake brownie, because cake brownies are great, don't get me wrong, but they tend to be a drier type base. And this is so moist, and it's really, I believe, to the applesauce, as well as the butter. But you can see the nuts running through it. Oh, just absolutely so moist, so light. Just a great tasting brownie. I think you're really going to like this recipe if you try it. Now, if you try this recipe and you like it, well, please let me know. Leave a comment. I really like to hear from you. I also want to remind you to solely watch me on YouTube, because that's the only place that I put my videos on. And as I mentioned, I enjoy when you do write to me or comment or tell me how you did like them, or whatever that you want to tell me. If my work has been taken to other sites and people pinning them and posting them and claiming them theirs, when you write to me and I see these comments, it infuriates me because I can't answer you. So please, not watch me on YouTube and write to me. When you write to me on YouTube, I'm going to get your message. I'm going to get your question, or I'm going to get your comment. So I hope you give these chocolate applesauce nut brownies a chance, because they are a delicious brownie with a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or a nice big glass of cold milk. Oh, they make a great dessert. Frosted or unfrosted, they are really a nice recipe. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake. If you're so inclined and you'd like to subscribe, I can't thank you enough. Want to give the video a like or ring the bell, I'd be most appreciative. So thanks for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and I'll see you soon.